right, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. I am Moletrap here, coming at you from Seoul, Korea, with the Arena of Legends King of Kong's Tournament Finals. And here is the results from one of our semifinals yesterday. LosirA 3-1ing GOMTV. GOMTV just kept rushing and rushing and rushing, and it almost never worked. Game 3 it obviously worked a little bit there, and actually Game 4 was just a tactical better play by LosirA, having a little bit better economy, so he was able to take the win. And then Marine King looked really strong on Metropolis. That's not a misspelling. Metropolis is a new map, not Metalopolis. And then in games 2, 3, and 4, DongRaeGu just wiped the floor with him. Just showed some really, really superior Zerg play. Lots and lots of really excellent tactics on his part there. And that was a really awesome series as well. So we're going to be going into the finals. Both these guys 3-1'd their opponents in the semifinals. Both of them looking super strong. Going into the finals here, we are going to have a Zerg versus Zerg finals here at GOMTV. And it is going to be really exciting. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing how these guys match up against each other, because, I mean, sometimes Zerg versus Zerg, I mean, we saw yesterday, that was not a terribly exciting series compared to other series that we've seen, just because the games are so short. I don't know about you, but I prefer epic long matches with tons of roaches and festers and ultras and mutas and all kinds of crazy stuff going on. Those are all very quick games, except for game number 4. But this series, I think, is going to be different. I think these guys are more evenly matched. I think both of them are very conservative players. They're going to go for more macro-oriented games. And when I say conservative, I mean as far as they're not going to take huge risks. Not that they're not going to be aggressive, because both these guys can be aggressive as well. So I'm really curious to see how it's going to go down and what is going to happen between these two. But like I said, I'm hoping for some nice, long, epic Zerg vs. Zerg games. Should be awesome. Really curious to see how it goes. You know, just because the ZVZ meta has changed a lot in the last few months. Anyway, we'll talk more about that a little bit later. We're going to get started with game number 1 right now. And up here at the top left of the now frozen over Belshire Beach, it is none other than Incredible Miracles LosirA. Down here at the bottom right-hand corner of the map is our other Zerg player, DRG. That stands for DongRaeGu. Alright, and we're going to get started here. Both players just getting their initial drones up. I'm curious to see what happens on this map. It is a 2-player map, so oftentimes you need to be playing a little bit less risky, because your opponent can scout you very early. If there's a rush that they're pulling off, they're not going to have to search around the map to find you. They go straight to your base. By the way, as you just saw at the bottom of your screen a moment ago, make sure to check out gomtv.net/ticket. Check out all our new ticket prices for the new year. The year is young, so it'd be a really good time to go ahead and buy a yearly pass for all of the content for GSL for the whole year, or there's some where you can just get GSL Code S and Code A, or you know, there's different options. There's also a new monthly option if you want to just basically subscribe to GOMTV at a monthly rate. So we finally have a little bit of deviation. DongRaeGu has gone for his extractor first into pool, so he's gone for that 14 gas pool, whereas LosirA is going ahead and expanding first. And that is a little bit risky by LosirA, but what he's going to do is immediately get his gas and pool as well. Oh, he's actually made another drone back up to 15. Okay, well, I mean, that's normal. If he makes any more drones, though, it'll definitely be a risky move on his part, and we actually see him building up for a pool, so he's not going to get his gas before his pool. So this is an expansion, but it's a safer expansion build. Didn't get the gas first, didn't try and squeeze in any extra drones. So the distance it's going to take for those Zerglings to travel across the map is going to make it so that LosirA is probably going to have a little bit of a build order advantage. DongRaeGu can, of course, still be aggressive, but I don't think he's going to be able to pull anything over on LosirA early game. And now DongRaeGu sees that expansion and knows exactly what is up. Anyway, by the way, if you guys are just joining us here for the finals, this is the King of Kong's tournament. and I'll quickly explain what that means. I explained it yesterday, and Wolf explained it as well. But basically, it's a tournament of all the second-place finishers, and it comes from the term Kong, which apparently means P in Korean, P-E-A, and it was nicknamed, oh, and he spots those Zerglings trying to sneak around the side with his Overlord. Can't pull anything over on LosirA. He knows there's extra Zerglings on the way. Anyway, very quickly, Kong, or P, was the nickname for Yellow, NC Yellow, a very, very strong Zerg player from the early days of Brood War. And we got Banelings morphing outside of LosirA's base. Speed upgrade is almost completed for, well, it's actually only half completed, never mind, for DongRaeGu. So he's chosen to go for the Baneling nest even before the speed upgrade. And so he's got these Banelings really quickly. And because his pool finished earlier, he's actually going to have speed earlier anyway. Oh, he's trying to pick off that one. Oh, nice. Lands that Baneling on 3 or 4 Zerglings. And that one Zergling is trying to chase those Banes. Oh, he did not expect that Spinecrawler. Spinecrawler out of effing nowhere, apparently. And he's going to work on those Zerglings now, just trying to zone out any Zerglings that might come in to stop him with the Baneling. And oh, he's going to move the Spinecrawler, but as we saw in the production tab a minute ago, I didn't have a chance to mention it. The Roach Horn was on the way that entire time, so Roach has come out for LosirA, and he is now safe. And I'm a little bit, that's kind of interesting, because normally you see when players go for a fast expansion, they get the Baneling nest to to counter the mass Zergling possibility that could hit them while they're vulnerable, while they're still expanding. But in this case, he went for the Roach Warren first instead, and the danger of that is if they go for mass Lings, then they can just overwhelm your very few Roaches early on in the game. In this case, he may have seen the Baneling nest and know that that would be very option. But here comes the Baneling Zergling attack. He's just running the Banelings past the Roaches, and unfortunately, they're in a spot. Oh, he's going to go for the drones. Nice drone splitting, only gets 2 with that one, and doesn't land anything on that Baneling, and oh man, loses everything. He's going to target down that Baneling with the Roaches, and this is not going to accomplish anything. Some Zerglings are coming in to reinforce, but they're pulled back. Oh no, half of them go in, and the other half stay there, and yeah, last Baneling just doesn't do any good. Trying to target down some of the injured drones that might have been injured by Splash, but doesn't get very many drones at all. So LosirA keeps the advantage of 15 to 13 drones, and keeps the advantage of the game because he also has that expansion. He's got Roaches out, he's got the Spinecrawler up. LosirA is sitting pretty, and as you can see there, he can just drone up. That's exactly what he's doing, and he can get double the dronage that DongRaeGu can because he has batteries. Although DongRaeGu is expanding now, trying to get his own hatchery up. But we're probably going to see, I would imagine, LosirA drone up. Well, actually, there's a couple ways he could go. He could either just drone up and get full saturation on those 2 bases while he techs, and just take this advantage for what it is. Or he could also just, maybe get another round of drones and then get 2 rounds of Roaches, and then attack with a lot of Roaches, and that might catch DongRaeGu off guard, or at the very least it would make him build a lot of units instead of drones, which would secure LosirA's economic advantage. DongRaeGu's a little bit worried about an attack, so he's made some Zerglings, morphing several of those into Banelings, so that if the attack comes in with mass Zerglings, he can at least use the Banelings to stop the Zerglings. Alright, well, we've got a little bit of a moment here, so I'm going to go ahead and finish my explanation earlier. Speed just starting for the Zerglings for LosirA, by the way. So yes, NC Yellow was a strong Zerg player. He was basically the first major Zerg player, I guess you could say. The first well-known Zerg player. He became known as the Storm Zerg. And at a time when not many people played Zerg, he actually showed people kind of what could be done with it. So anyway, but he had this reputation, this habit of getting second place in major tournaments. And so it became known as the Kong line for players that got second place a lot and could never quite get first, such as, for instance, Stork was another Brood War player who got a lot of second place finishes. And anyway, so that's what this is. It's kind of a joke on that. That's why it's called the King of Kongs, because it's between all the second place, well, not all, but some of the second place finishers for the GSLs. Even going back to Into the Rainbow, who was, of course, one of the very first second place finishers. Just one of the very first. Okay, what's the first? Actually, anyway, So, and on up through DongRaeGu, who actually was the second place finisher in the Blizzard Cup. So a little bit interesting to have DongRaeGu here since he actually did finish first in the 3D tournament, the LG Sim at 3D tournament, but he is obviously the second place finisher as well as of recently. Anyway, so getting into this game, a lot of Zerglings are pouring out for DongRaeGu. LosirA sees them. Does he have the army to stop this? Where are all of his roaches? Did he even make any more units? Has he just been droning up too much? He's desperately trying to make roaches, and LosirA GG's and leaves the game. Wow. Well, DongRaeGu wins game number 1. I was not expecting that. I mean, I saw him building all those Zerglings, but I was talking about the origin of the name of King of Kongs. I was a little bit distracted, but I also expected LosirA to actually make some units at some point, and he just kind of didn't make units. He was just so focused on teching and droning that he actually didn't make any units. And DongRaeGu just sent in a crap load of Zerglings, and that was it. So, wow, interesting move by DongRaeGu, taking a very extreme disadvantage and just managing to catch LosirA off guard, being a little bit too greedy with his advantage.